store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, you need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions.
This is the Home Repairs and Solutions Show, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, your #1 source for all your heat and air needs, your authorized Amana dealer. Your Home Repairs and Solutions hosts are Mary Pearson and Mark Withers. Now here's Mary and Mark.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am great.
I'm good today, waiting for the whatever's coming next.
It's going to hold off.
Weather-wise.
We're not going to have it tomorrow. We're going to get through today. Tomorrow's going to be great. We're going to have a huge, huge day with the Convoy of Hope fundraiser.
That's right. That's right.
Sunday afternoon. It can do whatever it wants. I don't care.
And it probably will.
It probably will. But I think it's going to hold off till the end.
I'm thinking I might be packing a bag and heading back up here to my daughter's again.
Probably.
She's going to get tired. She's going to make me live in the garage. She's going to get tired of me this winter.
Oh, no, she won't. Nobody'd ever get tired of you, Mary.
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Golly.
She's really good to let me come and stay, though, when we're going to have bad weather, so I'm not stuck at the lake trying to get back and forth. But
You know, I let myself run completely out of firewood. We have a fireplace, and I got to thinking about it. What would happen if we did have this ice storm? If, you know, and I thought, I need some wood. So luckily, I have a little house listed out towards Pleasant Hope, and the owners of that house, nobody lives there, it's vacant. There's a big wood pile back behind the house, and they told me, they said, you just take all that wood you want.
oh, my goodness.
Nobody's going to use it. So I was out there a little after daylight this morning and throwed a little bit of wood to get me by for a couple
Yeah,
days in
sure.
the back of the pickup. And so
Good idea. Good
just,
plan.
hey, you know,
It's
you got to
always-
plan.
yeah,
You got to be
absolutely.
safe, you know. Yeah,
Proactive is better than reactive.
there you go.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, since you did that, it'll just jump over us all together since you're prepared.
I hope.
That'd be good.
You know, it's just kind of like, you know, you go wash your car, it rains. Well, you know,
Yes.
so I go, you know, get out of bed at 5 o'clock this morning, go get firewood, then I won't need it.
That would be good.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be okay. Yeah. So if it all jumps over us, then we will all give you high praise and thanks next week for
Well,
doing
thank
that.
you. Thank you. And if it don't, are you going to blame it
Well,
on me?
then you're going to be happy you have your wood.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. So
Well, today we have a guest with us on the show. He hasn't been on here for a while. I've been trying to get him on the show, but he keeps telling me he's too busy. And I'm sure he is. He's still busy, but he decided to be on the show with us anyway. And that's Mike Milliken with Express Roofing. So welcome to the show, Mike.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm so glad I finally got you back on the show.
Well, I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, and he also has his little sidekick with him today. We have Mr. Riley with us on the show. I don't know if he's going to speak. I don't think so. He's just going to listen. But that's Mike's oldest son, and he's with us today. And so welcome, Riley. We're glad to have you, too. He's working on a whatever that electronic thing is. I don't know what all that stuff is, but he's kind of self-contained here, so I don't think we'll be hearing much from Riley.
Probably not.
you know that I love that name because that was my great grandpa's first name was Riley. And
Riley?
you don't hear that much anymore.
No, you don't.
And that is so cool. I love that. So
Yeah, that's actually a family name on my mother's side, Riley.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So he actually can have the life of Riley.
he can.
Yeah,
Yes,
not every. Some people think they do, but he really will.
he really will.
You know, there's no song that just reminded me of about life. You know, you've always heard that saying, "Live the life of Riley."
Uh-huh.
And the old song went, "I live the life of Riley when he's gone. When he moves out, I make myself at home. I wear Riley's shoes and I drink Riley's booze. I even have his car to drive around. So I live the life of Riley
I guess
when he's
so.
gone." And he also was sweet on Riley's wife. So that's why he. That's the whole song.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, it's about that. But that, you know, why would I think about something?
Who
like that?
knows? I don't.
Gosh,
I don't.
tell you.
I don't know where your mind's at most of the time, Mark. But that's okay.
I don't know where it's at most of the time either, Mary. Oh,
Well, as long as it's here every Friday, we're good.
that's right.
Yeah.
And it is here every Friday.
Every Friday.
That's right.
Well, I know that you've been busy. We've had all this wind. Oh my goodness. Is it your fault we're having all this wind?
It could possibly be, yes.
You just needed something to keep your guys busy, didn't you?
We did, yeah.
Well, it's working well for you, I understand.
It is. It is. We've just had an overwhelming amount of calls. We're trying to get to everybody that we can as quick as we can before the bad weather sets in. But
So a lot of people have been losing shingles, correct?
yeah. The last Thursday is when we had the major windstorm, and most of the deals we're going to, it's just a couple shingles here and there, so it's a small repair. And some are more extreme, where we're going to have to replace the whole roof. But yeah, it affected, I would say, thousands of people in the area.
Now this is a question I had because I always kind of look up at my roof, when we have all these high winds and stuff, and I might want to say that I have not had any roof issues at all because last July when my house caught on fire, I had Paul Davis Restoration come and do all of my restorative work and everything, and they hired Mr. Mike's company here, which I was very, very happy when I got down there and saw that it was Express Roofing doing my roof, and so I think that's why maybe all my shingles are still in place. I haven't had any fly off of my roof.
Well, that's great. That's what we want to hear.
Absolutely. But I always thought if you just have one or two missing, maybe like way up higher where you can't see it, how would you know? I mean, do people need to get up and on a ladder and kind of check their roof because we've had all this wind, or what does someone need to do?
I wouldn't advise getting on the roof.
Oh, I
if at all
won't. Trust, I'm
possible.
not going to get on mine.
But just visually checking it from the ground. If you're missing some shingles, you can generally see that. You can usually see the black tar paper underneath showing through. But yeah, just do a visual walk around. Try and, some houses it's hard to see the back of your roof because you may have neighbors right behind you.
Yeah.
We actually notified a couple of our neighbors, and they didn't have a clue that they had shingles missing, but trying to help them out. But yeah, just try and look over everything the best you can, and that's really the most you can do. If you're not sure, you think there may be a problem, you can't tell, just give us a call and we can come and check it for you.
Or if there's shingles in your yard, that's a real good indication you probably need to have something
It
done.
usually is. Either an indication you or your neighbor,
Or your neighbor.
has had an
yeah,
issue.
Exactly. Well, I know that you guys come out and will do repair work and that type of thing for folks. But if someone's wanting to replace a roof completely, if just maybe they don't have wind damage, but they just have an old roof, how often should someone replace their roof?
In our area with all the storms and wind and hail that we have, generally, depending on the shingle they have, it may be, as early as 15 years or, maybe up to 30 years at the longest, I would say. But generally, the shingles may have a warranty that's 25 years or 30 years or longer. But around here, you can usually knock a good 10 years off of that, and you can pretty well expect to be replacing it.
See, I always wondered that warranty deal. I've always thought, wouldn't that depend on where you lived and the weather and all that? I mean, I that's interesting to me. They'll say, oh, it's a 25-year warranty. Based on what? Based on, mild, inclement weather 12 months out of the year or what?
I used to, when I was in the selling business, that was always a question. People, especially paint, people want to buy that 25-year paint. This paint's going to last 25 years on my house. Well, it might, but it might not because we don't know what kind of weather we're going to get.
Exactly.
That paint company don't know which side of the house that paint's going on, how much sunlight it gets, and everything else.
Or how thick you paint it. Or I mean, there's so many variables in all this stuff.
Oh yeah, and to me it was the same with roofing. I mean,
Sure.
I guess they would be considered under normal conditions that their shingle might last 25, 30 years. But who knows what we're going to have, weather-wise and everything else. So,
yeah, this winter's proven that for sure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no normal in our area here. You never know.
Yeah, I always thought, what is normal anyway? What does that mean? Depends on who you ask, I think, what normal is, but I don't know. But so you are based out of Nixa, correct?
Yes, we're based out of Nixa, and we serve, the whole surrounding area. We'll go down to Branson and.
Yes, they do.
Yes, we do. We did your house in Branson.
Yes, thanks goodness.
And we'll even go up to Bolivar sometimes.
Okay.
So that's kind of our boundary lines there. So Springfield, Republic, we're always working in those areas.
All the little bedroom communities of Springfield.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
Something that, and you may have a good answer for this. Something I've noticed over the years, is different brands of shingles sealed down differently.
Yes.
And when I was selling shingles, there was a particular, well, I'll just say the brand Owens Corning is what we used to sell. And for this area, the Owens Corning used to come out of the northern regions, which takes a lower temperature for them to seal down.
Mm-hmm.
If we got some that come out of a different area, they wouldn't hardly seal down. Is that true? Does that make a difference?
Yeah, most definitely. There's definitely brands that we've noticed that are doing better than others.
Right.
One specific brand, I'll probably offend a few people because it's the local brand, but Tamco, made here in Joplin. A lot of people really like those shingles, but we honestly have the most trouble with them, especially in this windstorm. Probably 75% of the shingles were Tamco shingles, and they're just having trouble sealing down. And we've had a few issues with them, so that's not necessarily the brand we recommend. Owens Corning, GAF, CertainTeed are some really good brands. But yeah, there's definitely, you want to think about what brand you use and maybe listen to your contractor when they recommend a certain brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because as a homeowner, I don't think of that. I just think of a shingle as being a shingle.
Sure.
But I'm sure it's like with anything else. There's so many variables and how they're made and
Right.
And do they come in different thicknesses and all that too, or
They do. They
Do they?
do. There's kind of a standard, the architectural shingle you see on most of the houses around here is pretty well the standard, and then you can go up from there, and of course, get thicker and more expensive as you go. But really, a lot of it has to do with the nailing of it too. If the crew doesn't nail it in the proper pattern in the proper area on the shingle, then you lose most of your wind resistance there, and that's when you have when you see a whole bunch blown off a house, and the next door neighbor house is just fine. That's probably what's happened.
interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Well, gosh, that's more than I knew about being a roofer. I didn't know that. I just figured you just nailed them down. So you have to nail them in a pattern?
Yeah, there's a pattern, and then there's an area on the shingle where you want to nail, and it actually goes through multiple layers is what helps it. That helps it from ripping through, as opposed to just nailing through a single layer.
Now, do a lot of people still use staples?
No.
Okay.
Now it's just pretty much a coil nail,
coil
like an
nail,
inch and
right.
a quarter flathead nail. Yeah, the staples are kind of thing of the past.
That's good.
Yeah, they don't tend to hold in near as well as the nails do.
No, I never did like the staples, and I know a lot of roofing companies at one time were using them, but I'm glad that's going the other way because I just staples to me just never was the way to put down shingles.
Right. Yep.
I wouldn't think it would hold it down as well, because you wouldn't have the length to hold it down. I wouldn't think a staple.
Yeah, most of them are shorter, so
Yeah.
the nails that you want them to go all the way through the roof decking and penetrate the other side of it. And the staples, they just don't have as much surface area to hold onto the shingle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, have you, I've noticed, like on our new houses that we build, the architectural shingles is pretty much what everybody uses. I mean, there's some folks who'll still use a 3-tab,
Sure.
but it seems like the warranties have got, I don't know necessarily got better, but they're really good on like the architecturals. They're a heavier shingle, no doubt.
Right.
I mean, what do you see happening? What's the big thing in shingles right now? What's the trend?
Well, with the warranties, they used to be called a 30-year,
Sure.
architectural shingle, and it's the same shingle, but all the manufacturers changed their warranty. They call it a limited lifetime.
Okay.
To the original purchaser, and then they have, depending on the brand manufacturer, they have some, like a wind warranty, maybe 15 years up to their 130 miles per hour. Most of them incorporate an algae-resistant chemical, so most of them have a 10-year algae-resistant warranty, which a lot of people may not know what that is, but it's the black streaks you start seeing on older roofs, a few years down the road. And that can be cleaned off. We offer that service of algae removal. There's a chemical we can spray on the roof and wash it off and make it look brand new again.
I didn't know there's anything that could take that off. That's interesting, because you do see that occasionally. You'll go by and you'll see like this. And I always wondered what that was. I thought, how did they get those streaks like that? I thought maybe it was something, if they had a fireplace or something that was leaking or running out on their roof. I didn't know that was like a algae type situation.
Yeah, it's algae, and it normally grows on the north side, gets the least amount of sun. So yeah, that can be cleaned off. And generally, it's going to be the older roofs, since, like I said, the newer shingles most of them are treated with a chemical that resists it.
Is there a difference in the underlayment to the shingle? Does everything just use that black paper under it, regardless of the shingle, or is there different underlayments, and does that make a difference? The reason I'm thinking, because like carpet, you know, you can have different thicknesses of
Sure.
pads, and it'll make a difference on the wear of the carpet and all that. Is shingles the same way? Is there a difference in the
Yeah.
underlayment?
There is. There's a lot of new technology out, and there are a lot of different options now. The standard is, a tar paper in a 15-pound or 30-pound, which is a little bit heavier duty. But now they have synthetic underlayments that's pretty much just very thin, heavy-duty plastic sheeting, and those are really good. And really, if your roof's put on correctly, the underlayment isn't going to make a big difference. Usually when we go from, say, a 15-pound to a 30-pound felt paper is on the steeper pitches, and that's more for when our guys are actually working up there,
I
because it'll
see.
tear out from underneath them. And on the synthetic underlayments, they're really great if you have a new construction house and it might be out in the weather before you actually get to put the shingles on it. So yeah, there's a lot of different options out there, but the good old tar paper, it still works fine, and that's mostly what we use still.
Okay.
Now, I've seen a lot of guys, especially back a few years ago, not use any kind of felt or anything under shingles.
Yeah.
Does that void the warranty on a shingle, or?
Most of the manufacturers are going to have an issue if they find
Mhm.
there's no felt paper under there.
Mhm.
It may not, they may not totally void it out, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's just people cutting corners. I mean,
Mhm.
everything should have felt paper under on it. And a
Mhm.
lot of places have codes that require felt paper.
Right.
Our area is a little more lax, so they don't, have any inspections for felt paper or anything like that. But a lot of other areas do.
What does the felt paper actually do? What's the purpose of the felt paper? What does it do?
It has a couple purposes. The number one is to dry in the roof while you're working on it, or if it's a new construction, it'll keep the rain out of it until the shingles are put on. And then the second is it's a second safety, barrier. If you have a leak that comes in through your shingles, it's most likely
Mhm.
going to run on that felt paper and go. It's not going to get into your house.
Okay.
So
But yeah, I could take you right now to several sets of duplexes that I stood and watched them roof them with no felt on them.
yeah,
Wow.
And so I was, but that's been a few years ago.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I didn't know whether anybody was still doing that or not, or.
No, it's
Yeah,
really.
so,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I never did see a reason not to felts on at that expensive,
sure.
and to me, I never seen a reason not to put it on there. But I guess if you did several, you'd save a few $100, So
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah.
so.
Well,
cutting
yeah, plus
corners.
just in labor. I mean, that's just another layer they wouldn't have to do
Yeah.
labor-wise too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and another option, a lot of the builders we're working for now are using it's a treated roof decking. It's actually coated with I don't even know what it is, but it's a waterproof chemical,
Mhm.
and then you tape all the seams, so then we don't use felt paper on those. It's called a green board is
Mhm.
what they call
oh
it,
wow.
but they use it on the roof and then also the sides of the house. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's they're coming out with new products all the time. And that saves us time. We don't have to put the felt paper on those.
Interesting. So you just tape the seams.
Yeah, there's special tape. They're 4x8 sheets,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
and then you just tape all the seams, and it's waterproof after that.
I'll
You can
be
let it rain
darned.
on it, and
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. Anything you can do to keep from having a roof leak is a good thing, in my opinion.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, because sometimes when you have a roof leak, they can be a real stinker to find.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It can come in one area and run all over the place and come through your house in a completely different spot, and they can be a real challenge for
Well,
sure.
Oh yeah, and some people don't. You may not know it for years. It could be
Yeah.
leaking into your attic
Yeah.
and rotting away rafters or decking. And,
Yeah.
and it may not make it all the way into your house, but it could be causing mold and serious problems.
So do you do inspections for that type of thing, or
Yeah.
will you go up in someone's attic and see if they've maybe got a issue that maybe they don't have any issue like you said inside their home, but maybe they have an older roof and they just want an inspection done to see if they're having any problems. You do those type of things.
Yeah,
correct?
we do inspections all the time. People that just aren't sure how many more years their roof may have left in it, we'll come out and look at it for them, and we can look in the attic and check for leaks and just make sure it's still functioning properly. But yeah,
Now, if a person gets up and cleans their gutters out and they notice a lot of granules in the gutter, Is that a normal thing? Is that just normal wear on a roof, or do they need to be real concerned?
Well, there's always going to be a few granules in the gutter. That's normal.
Sure.
But I mean, if you're if it's an inch deep or even a half inch deep, that's not normal. So you most likely had a hailstorm hit your roof, and that's what that does. It knocks off the granules. Or it's just really, really old and it needs to be replaced. But yeah, if there's a lot of granules, you need to have somebody come look at it. And hail is another thing. It's really hard to know that you have damage just besides the fact that you knew it had a hailstorm. So you need to have it checked out because you can't see it from the ground. And even if you get up on the roof, if you don't know what you're looking for, everything usually looks fine to you. And it won't leak usually for a year or two. The sun will eventually eat through it, and that takes a couple years, but it can be serious problems if you wait too long.
All right.
It's also really important to make sure that you don't have hanging tree limbs and stuff scraping your roof.
Yes.
I do have a few over my roof, and my neighbor got up there this fall and trimmed a bunch of those back for me so that in case we did have ice or snow, then the weight wouldn't push that down and then rub against my roof. So I know that in Nixa we had lots and lots and lots of trees in it, and Paul trimmed them twice a year because they grew so fast and made sure that we didn't have anything rubbing against our roof or anything like that would cause damage to a shingle or have an ice storm or something, and then that whole branch breaks off and lands on your roof. That wouldn't be cool either. But
right.
So that's something that a lot of homeowners can check as well. Just make sure you don't have something rubbing against your roof.
That's right.
We have to go to a break.
We do.
I know. Gary's giving me that, like, hey, you're past the break sign.
That's right. Well, we will be back with more home repairs and solutions right after these fine messages. Now, if you've got a problem and you don't know what to do, your siding's going bad and you're plagued with green mildew. Well, your faucets, they all drip and your sinks are all clogged up too. Well, there's no need to worry. I'll tell you what you can do. Just call Home Repairs and Solutions. Home Repairs and Solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house. They'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home Repairs and Solutions.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. A winter storm watch is in effect for the Ozarks over the weekend. Up to 6 inches of snow and sleet along with freezing rain could fall across portions of the Ozarks from Saturday evening through Sunday night. A man from Ava is behind bars following his arrest on a number of parole and probation violations. Jacob James called and arranged to give himself up to the Douglas County Sheriff. He had allegedly been stalking and harassing the victim of a sexual assault that had resulted in him doing time in prison. And a 29-year-old burglary suspect is under arrest following a break-in at a pharmacy in Republic. Republic Police Chief Mark Lowe says Shannon Albright was found hiding between two houses not far from the Hines Street Pharmacy. An alarm at the pharmacy alerted authorities to the break-in. They say Albright was recently released from prison. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
And join us for America's First News, Monday through Saturday at 6:05 a.m. on the Wall Street Journal This Morning on AM 560 KWTO.
Breezy day today with snow, sleet, and rain with little or no accumulation, high 42. A rain or snow shower in spots in the evening, otherwise mostly cloudy tonight, low 29. Then tomorrow mostly cloudy with a high 46 and a low tomorrow night of 20. Breezy and much colder Sunday with snow, sleet, and freezing rain accumulating a coating to an inch, high of 22, but temperatures will fall into the middle teens. I'm AccuWeather's Kevin Snyder.
It's 39 degrees at AM 560 KWTO.
If you're a homeowner who's faithfully made your mortgage payments, you deserve thanks for doing the right thing. And I'd like to tell you about a powerful financial tool that rewards your commitment. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. And the tool that I'm talking about is the Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. HARP is designed to help you lower your mortgage payments. It's for homeowners who are current on their mortgage payments, but due to the housing market may have little or no equity left in their home. And even if you were unable to get a HARP loan in the past, new guidelines mean that now you may be eligible. More than 2.5 million homeowners have already taken advantage of HARP and are saving an average of $250 a month. If you're one of the millions yet to take advantage, call us today at 800-QUICKEN. To learn more, call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to quickenloans.com. That number again is 800-QUICKEN.
Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
KWTO and KTXR are seeking full-time advertising sales representatives. These individuals must be master communicators both verbally and with the written word. They also need to be organized in order to manage their accounts. A radio sales position can be rewarding, lucrative, and enjoyable. If you're an individual with natural sales capabilities, contact Donna Neal at 417-862-3990 for more information about the open positions. Meyer Communications is an equal opportunity employer. Send resumes to manager@radiospringfield.com.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, you need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions.
Welcome back to Home Repairs and Solutions, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, your authorized Amana dealer. If you have questions, home repair questions or comments, or particularly if you have questions on roofing today, call 862-9977. That's 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. Or if you're a Verizon customer, star 56. Or if you want to just text your comment or question in, you can use what number, Mark?
You can do it by texting 417-838-3192. And we'll be glad to read your question on air and give you an answer.
Hopefully give you an answer.
Hopefully.
We try our best.
We try.
But the best time to ask your roofing questions is now.
Is now.
When we have the expert here.
Yeah, yeah. Don't wait till the music starts playing again. Do it now.
Yeah. Call now. You probably have 20 minutes to give us a call if you have questions. Or maybe you're having an issue with your roof, and maybe you need Mike to come out and take a look at it or give you some assistance. You can call and ask him to do that as well. So if you don't have a roof problem, some people are going to have one probably after this next go around.
Probably so.
If you don't have one now, take Mike's information down, which we need to give that out. We haven't done that yet. So get your paper and pencil ready, and we're going to let Mike give out his phone number and his information so that if you do have a roof issue, you'll know immediately who to call. And so how do they get a hold of you, Mike?
Okay, you can call us at our office in Nixa, and that number is 725-ROOF. It's kind of easy to remember, but it's 725-7663.
And is that answered 24 hours a day?
No, it is not.
Okay, what are your hours?
We generally have somebody in the office from 9 to 4.
Okay.
And we try and check the messages more often than that. But yeah, we'll get back with you real quick when you call in. You can also look us up on the internet. Our website is 417expressroofing.com. You can read a little more about our company, and you can also contact us through our website there.
Okay. So if you don't have like a dire emergency and you just want to set up an appointment or something like that, you can do that through the website.
Correct.
If you have a hole in your roof and water's pouring through, you might want to just call.
Yes, yes.
I wouldn't go the website route, something like that.
We try and check that frequently, but yeah, calling is usually going to be a little bit quicker for you.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. I would say that probably, I know you do new construction.
Yes, we do.
And you do remodels.
Yes.
Like if someone's going to add a room, you'll come out. How hard is it to match existing shingles?
It can be difficult. Over the years, the shingles will fade. The sun will fade the color a little bit. Usually we can get really close, and it's going to look pretty good for you. There are a few shingles out there that they don't make that color anymore. So that's
I wondered if
unfortunate.
that would be an issue. Do they change colors very much on shingles like they do other products sometimes?
They
or
do slightly.
Do they?
Most of them will still match up pretty well, but there's a few out there that, you know, maybe weren't real popular, were discontinued, or they actually did just change it a little bit. There's a few of those. But generally we can match it up pretty close. And if not, maybe we'll replace a bigger section to where it looks a little better, or sometimes we'll do the whole house with a remodel.
Well, I know when you came down and did my house, I thought that you were just going to do that little section that got burnt. And my roof wasn't that old. I think it was, I'm trying to remember, 4 years, maybe 5 years old. And so I gave Paul Davis the information because I had the information for the shingles that we had put on there originally and where we bought them and the color and the number and all that jazz. And I gave that to them, and I guess they passed that on to you. I'm not sure how that worked. But anyway, when you guys came out and did that, you can't really tell any color difference at all in mine. Even my neighbors are like, wow, did they redo the whole roof? And I said, nope, but they did from here to here. But it all, it just looked like it was all put together really well. And I don't know if it's because my roof wasn't that old initially, or if you were just that good at being able to match that up. Because do roofs run in lot numbers like other things do,
Yeah,
like
they
wallpaper and all that? So you could even go get the same shingle, but it's going to be a different lot number. It could be off of just a little bit.
Yes.
Just because of the run.
Yes.
Yeah.
And generally, if you're doing a small repair, 1 or 2 shingles, that's when sometimes that will stick out. But if we're doing a larger repair, we'll try and do it in sections. And if you can do it in sections and break it up, like at a ridge or a valley, it will blend in a lot better.
Yeah,
And that's
that
what
makes
we're able to
sense.
do with yours.
Yeah.
And we did work really hard to match it for you.
Well, you did an amazing job. You really did, because you really can't tell where the original roof that was left on and where you guys came in and attached to it. So I was very, very pleased with that, and you did a great job. I also was going to say, since Mike's done work for me personally, and I've known him for quite a while, and Spring Mountain Air uses him if we get on difficult roofs where we need to penetrate a roof. We're not roofers, we're heating and air people. So sometimes we'll get into a situation where we'll need a roofer to come out and actually seal up around the flue, and we've used Mike on those type of situations also. But, if you've ever had a roof torn off, it can be a real mess, and it can be, a real frustration if it's not done by a professional who is careful with your property. And I want to let everyone listening know that when they came out and they had to tear off part of my roof, and some of it was burnt, and you can just imagine it was just kind of a mess. And they put tarps down. They didn't just throw everything in my yard and on top of my plants and my lawn furniture and all that stuff. I mean, you were so kind and so conscientious that they had this tarping down. They threw everything on the tarping. The other thing that typically happens or can happen is when you have a roof replaced, there's lots and lots of nails.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, lots and lots of nails.
Yeah.
And so sometimes after they're gone, you're going to find nails periodically just all over the place. And I did not have that issue. I'm not sure what you guys did, but because I kind of looked around because I didn't want to pick one up with my lawnmower or my golf cart or whatever. And so I kind of walked around the house and looked and stuff, and I did not find one nail. And I thought, what did they do with all those nails? What do you do? How did you do that?
Well, mostly it's just spending a lot of time picking it up. We have magnets, and we have big roll magnets and hand magnets, but those still don't get everything. And I mean, there's thousands and thousands of nails. There's tons and tons of debris that we take off each roof.
Tons of debris.
Literally, tons.
I saw it laying there on the tarp.
Yeah, but it's just the guys spend a lot of time at the end of each job, at the end of each day, going around and picking all that up, cleaning out the gutters after we're done.
That was the other thing I was going to say. They cleaned out the gutters when
Wow.
they were done.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I was very, very, very happy with the job you did for me.
Well, we've learned that that's just as important as putting on the shingles right, because the homeowners don't see if we nailed the shingles in the correct spot. That's just part of our job to do that. But they see if we leave nails on the ground and in the gutter, and they wash out when it rains. So we really try and spend a lot of time on that. We don't want people having flat tires, and so that's a huge part of the job is the cleanup. And we, like you said, we use tarps to put on the ground to try and catch a lot of it. We cover landscaping with tarps or plywood, whatever's necessary, because people don't realize how big of a job it is and how messy it is. And, you can have broken windows and all kinds of damage if you're not careful. So they do spend a lot of time protecting your property and then cleaning it up.
They did, and on one side of my house that they had to re-roof is I have Paul and I built like a little rose bed there or whatever, and we've got like 3 rose bushes, and I thought, oh boy, how am I going to get all that crap out of there? There was no crap to get out of there. They actually leaned a piece of plywood or something next to the house that sheltered the road, big enough to cover all that, so that if there's something that fell, it would slide down the plywood. And they picked. So I had nothing in my flower bed. I was extremely pleased because, like I said, I have a golf cart. My grandkids like to run it around. I was thinking, oh boy, I've got to get, make sure there's no nails. And I did not find any. And I thought, I don't know how they did that. I don't know how they got all that picked up. And your guys were so kind to me when they got ready to leave and everything, and they were getting everything done. They wanted to know if there was anything else that they could do for me, or if there was, if I had any other issues that, maybe they could help me with or something. I mean, just very, very helpful, very a great crew of guys. I was really, really pleased.
Well, that's good to hear. That's really important.
I mean, I knew you were good, but I didn't know your guys were that good.
Well, I've been blessed. My production manager, Corey, he's on every job.
Yes, I met Corey, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He does a really good job communicating with the customers, and I receive so many phone calls that compliment him and our crew, and that just makes me feel like we're doing it right. Because, I mean, it honestly can be a really bad experience.
Yeah.
And we've heard a lot of stories, and so we're trying to make it a good experience. It's not a fun thing to have your roof replaced, not something you wish to do. It's not exciting, but we try and make it the best experience we can.
Well, especially in a situation like a storm or fire like I had or something, I mean, something that's totally unexpected at the time or unplanned, and there's just kind of a sense of nervousness or, you're not sure. I mean, you have all these other things to deal with if it's kind of an unexpected thing, and so to have someone that can come out there and that can communicate with you and let you know what's going on, and it just made me feel good that, I mean, I was perfectly content and happy knowing that you guys were doing the roof, because I knew that you would do a good job. I still couldn't believe that I didn't find any nails. That was the most amazing thing to me, because I thought, and I got my bucket. I thought, well, I'll just get my 5-gallon bucket, and I had my gloves on. And I walked around, and I was like, wow, I can't find any.
Wow, that's
really,
great.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Hey, something that we need to make folks aware of right now, because this is happening out there, because I've heard a few reports of this. A lot of people lost shingles over the last week. We've talked about that. Be aware of if somebody comes to your door and says, hey, we want to repair your roof. Most of the time, you guys, the professionals like you don't go around knocking on doors.
Right.
I mean, so be aware of the scammers out there that, drive up, come knock on your door, say, yeah, we'll do it for, $50, $100, and you pay them, and the next thing you're gone, they're gone. And if they did do anything, it's usually not right. They're just trying to scam money. So, if somebody does come to your door, ask them, hey, do you have references? Can you give me numbers? Or, where's your office located at? Can we call the office just to verify who you are? That's so important, because there is, believe it or not, people out there that wants to take advantage of people.
Yes, there are. And there's a few things that can really benefit you in checking, if you want to look on the Better Business Bureau, especially if we have a big hailstorm or a big wind event like we had last week, and there's lots of work need to be done. We'll have out-of-town people come in.
Sure, yeah.
And they're not necessarily all bad, but that I've heard a lot of bad experiences. Yeah. Just a local phone ad in that case, you might check and see if they're in the phone book. That means they've probably been here for a while. And then just local references. That's how we get 90% of our work, is our customers refer us to their friends. And that's the absolute best way, if you have somebody that that's referred somebody.
Sometimes when we have these type of weather events and it affects so many people, and maybe you're going to have to wait a few days for a roofer to get out there just because of the volume of work that's happened at one time. Sometimes it's kind of tempting, we're not always real patient.
Sure.
And it's like, well, I know I have shingles missing, and it's going to rain, and I don't want it to leak, and this guy's here, and well, maybe he's okay. Well, maybe, but maybe he's not okay.
Exactly.
And he might end up doing more damage than he does good. And then, sometimes it's hard to be patient and wait. I get that.
Right.
But just be aware of who you're dealing with and who you're talking to.
Exactly.
It might be worth waiting the extra, day or so to check them out first and make sure they're legit, and hopefully, everything will be
That's
okay
right.
until you can get someone out there who's a legitimate.
That's right.
Yeah, the other
Roofer and-
thing about that is you may get somebody that comes and falls off your roof and doesn't have insurance. That's a huge. I mean, that's
Oh yeah.
that's going to be the worst scenario
and then
there.
and then you have a broken roof and a lawsuit.
Right, right,
That would not be fun for anybody.
right.
So
And
yeah.
our insurance in the roofing industry is one of the most
It's
expensive.
very expensive,
It
yeah.
is because
It
it's
is.
dangerous but you definitely want to hire a company that is willing to pay that and take care of their guys up there.
Absolutely, you betcha. Well, and anybody who isn't willing to insure their people that are working for them, you probably don't want to use that person. If they don't care enough about their workers, they're probably not going to care a whole lot about you.
Right.
So make sure you have someone that's like you said, that's a legitimate business person and that has everything in place to protect you and them.
Correct.
So, do you have a question, Gary?
I do have a question. What if you have a roof that is leaking, but you don't know why or where it's leaking from? There just happens to be a drip in the ceiling of your house, and it's not that old a roof, but you want to find the leak. Do you ever come out and help locate leaks?
We do that on a daily basis. That's part of our job description, and we love doing it. We've gotten pretty good at finding them. Some of them are more difficult than others, but yeah, we have people calling every day. They have a spot on their ceiling, don't know where it's coming in from. We'll come and look at it and look at the roof and look in the attic and find that leak, and then once we repair it, we guarantee that we've fixed it.
That's very good.
Are most leaks around flashings and roof penetrations? Is that usually where most of them occur?
That's the most common.
I would think so.
The plumbing pipes that come through the roof have a rubber gasket around them, and those don't last as long as the rest of the roof because they're made out of rubber
Sure.
and the sun deteriorates them. So maybe after 7 or 8 years, those will start cracking, and that's the most common leak spot there. And then anywhere where you have brick on top of your shingles and you have flashing there, that's another issue that could cause leaks.
That's something that I didn't always think about is, whenever you penetrate your roof with something like that, then there is something there between that and the shingles or the roof. And typically that is something that's going to deteriorate maybe a little quicker.
Right.
So it's just something to be aware of. And probably it's a good idea to have your roof inspected periodically, I would say, just to see if something like that's going on.
Definitely. I would say if your roof is 8 to 10 years old, even if you have no issues, it'd be a very good idea to have somebody come look at it. But yeah, having it inspected every few years is definitely a good idea, good preventative measure.
Great. Real quick before we run out of time, metal roofs. You just do those too, don't you?
We do metal. We
Okay.
don't do near as many as the asphalt roofs, but we do metal roofs, and we actually recommend the concealed fastener metal roofs. The cheaper version, which a lot of people do use, they're screwed down on the face.
Sure,
And
yeah.
we have issues with those because there's so many little penetrations on those roofs. There's a lot of leak points.
Yeah.
So that prevents us from doing a lot of the metal roofs, which the other guys do. But we do a lot of the higher end concealed fastener roofs. And
Right.
those are, that's a good solid roofing system, but
yeah,
they are more
yeah.
expensive.
Okay. And commercial and residential, I guess.
Yeah, we do commercial and residential. We do flat roofing on commercial buildings. If you ever see the white roofing, it's called a TPO on Walmart buildings and things like that. We can do that. So yeah.
Great.
Is it usually a good idea to stay away from a flat roof? I mean, you don't want to. You don't like part of our house in Nixa. We had a flat roof and we had a lot of issues with it, so we ended up, putting a rubber roof on it.
Right.
Just because it was flat and there was nowhere for anything to drain off of or run off. So, I would say most of the time you probably don't want to put a flat roof somewhere on your house. I'm just guessing.
The products have come a long way in the last few years. So like I said, the white roofs you see, we're putting more of those on houses that have flat roofs. And those are a great product. You're not going to have any issues with them if it's installed properly. So I would say it's not necessarily as much of a problem as it used to be.
Okay.
They used to be, like either a torch down product or a tar product, and those just deteriorate and did have a lot of issues.
I don't remember what we had on ours originally. But yeah, pretty soon it was not a good thing.
Right.
And so then we actually, and this of course has been several years ago now, but we actually ended up putting a rubber-based roof on it.
Yes.
The flat part, and that seemed to take care of the issues.
Yes.
So I didn't know. But after we did that, I thought, I don't ever want any part of my roof flat.
Yeah, a lot of it is people putting on the wrong product
Yeah.
in the wrong area. So if you
Okay.
do the right product on your flat roof, you're not going to have any issues with it. But a lot of guys will try and put shingles, on a flat roof, and eventually, that's not going to
Yeah,
work. So
yeah.
if you put the right product on it, you're not going to have problems.
Okay. All right.
I actually drove by a house yesterday that had an old gravel roof on it.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody still do those?
Oh, wow.
Most definitely not. we tear them off and replace them with a newer product. But yeah, that's kind of old technology, and it is a mess to tear
Oh,
off.
I bet it is. I'm sure. Have you ever seen a
Yes,
gravel
I
roof?
have. Yeah.
I never did quite understand them, but this house sure had one. I'm
We
just
don't
like,
hot mop
wow.
them anymore either, do we? Do they hot mop roofs anymore?
Not there's a few guys out there, but for the most part, no.
I would think
that's
so.
an old technology also,
Yeah.
and it's more of guys doing repairs on old ones. And,
Okay.
But when we replace them, it's usually a newer product.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a horrible job.
And a less messy.
Oh, yeah.
hot
Oh, that would be horrible. Just
Yep.
horrible.
Yep, absolutely. Well, before we run out of time, give your contact information again.
Okay, it's Express Roofing, and we're in Nixa, Missouri, and the phone number is 417-725-ROOF. It's 725-7663, or you can look us up on the internet at 417expressroofing.com.
Got you pulled up right here.
All right.
Good
Nice
deal.
little website.
And now tell us about what you have going on with Convoy of Hope. When does that start? Where do
that
people need to go?
Tomorrow, March 1st, at River Bluff Fellowship, which is out on Evans Road between 65 Highway and Springfield Lake. Starts at 2 o'clock. Doors open at 1. And I have a full day of bluegrass, gospel, and country music. It all goes to Convoy of Hope. I got like 11 bands coming in to give their time and talent. And we got concessions. Chappie's Deli in Ozark's going to have concessions set up. And it's just going to be a wonderful day to raise money for Convoy of Hope. So I'd love for everybody to come out if they can.
And what's the entry fee?
$10.
$10.
$10 for the whole day. Yeah, and it's all a...
That's less than $1 a band.
Yeah, that's right. $10.
You can't go to a concert that cheap.
No, $10 donation at the door that gets you in for all day for all these years. And we got some really, really good bands
You
coming
even have a
into
country
play.
and western band, don't you?
We got the Honky Tonk Renovators are going to shut down the show for us tomorrow night with a big finale. It's going to be fun.
So everybody, if you don't have anything planned, put that on your calendar. Run out there. You don't have to stay for the whole thing if you don't want to, but
No.
show up and have a little bit of fun. Listen to some bluegrass and help out the Convoy of Hope.
Come and give us your money.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
Bottom
what
line.
we want. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mike, for being on the show and for bringing Riley. It was nice to meet Riley today.
Yes.
And hope you get a good review from the teacher. I'm sure you will.
He always does.
He is not talking. And
He's
if you
smiling.
guys have any issues with your roof now or in the near future, don't forget about Mike at Express Roofing. Call them. They are an amazing company, and I'm so happy that you were on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Absolutely.
Anything big going on with you?
I just hope I can stay home for the weekend and not have to pack a bag, but we'll see.
There you go. Okay. This is Home Repairs and Solutions. We're heard every Friday morning from 10 to 11 right here on AM 560 KWTO.